contract signed a week.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then I think our conversions are pretty low because I think people that are much better at the phone can probably convert better. So we're working on that to talk to sellers better. But even still, one signed contract a week is still not bad for just
No, it's
starting out.
not at all, man. What's your average what's it called? What is your average assignment fee? Are you doing mainly assignments, or you doing mainly what's it called? Assignments or lease options? I know I don't do lease options. I do wraps when it comes to where I can take over the payments. What type of a strategy do you guys have?
So we're using Justin's disposition team to handle that. But the two contracts that we have signed, they haven't closed yet. But they're in the process of being closed. We're still wrapping it up because one of them, the tenant is moving out on August 1st. So we can't close until the tenant moves out. Not August 1st, July 4th. And the other one, this guy, he's playing, he's being a little bit flaky. So we're trying to push him along.
How many markets are you in?
We just blast everybody, but I think I'm currently in like 23 states.
Shoot.
Yeah, because like if you're doing 750 texts a day, what my numbers are looking at is like every 10 to 15 days, most markets only have for sell by owner at least, they only generate like maybe 250, 300, maybe at most, but even smaller markets is like 150 leads every every 10 to 15 days.
Okay.
But a bigger market like Texas, you're going to get like 450 to 600 leads every 10 to 15 days. And if you're doing like 2 to 3,000 texts, you're going to need a lot of leads, right? So you have to go into like different markets.
Yeah, definitely, man. So yeah, so how long have you been with Justin?
I think 3 or 4 months, but then we didn't really get started on the 700 blast every other day or so until like 6 weeks ago. And then we only started to convert them like 2 to 3 weeks ago. So that's why we only have 2 contracts.
Okay, perfect. No, that's good, man. Again, so you said your main strategy was which one?
Lease options. So we just basically just do what Justin does. We just text them and then call them and then get them to sign.
Okay. I was going to ask you, have you tried doing not a lease option, but well, it's kind of the same thing because you also get a bigger down payment. Like, what's your average down payment when you get a lease option?
So the one that this one we're doing in Texas, I think it's a 7%. Alex can talk about that one, but it's like a 7%. We were going for that one, and then this one, another one that I have in Michigan, in Saline, Michigan, we're probably going to aim for about 7% as well.
What is the sales price? What does that convert to a sales price wise?
So one of them is either 55 to 70,000, and the other one is going to be around 250 to 275,000.
Okay, so 7% was that. That's pretty big. It's like 21,000 more or less.
Yeah.
Damn. Maybe I need to get into some lease options. Are those the average prices in your areas? Like in those areas, are those the average prices?
So it depends. Well, the Saline, Michigan one, yeah. So that's the average price. I think the owner listed it for 235, and then we're gonna sell it for 250 to 270. Because lease option, you can bump it up a little bit, bump it up like 5, 10, 15%. That's what I've seen other people do. And people are willing to fork over some money, but we're waiting for the right person. And it's a little bit further away from the actual closing date because they get to move in August 1st. So people, they make a decision within 2 to 3 weeks of the actual move-in date, right? So you're gonna get more people to actually do stuff. So we're only getting like 1 to 3 people, but they're still offering like 5% down payment, but I'm waiting for somebody for that one to do like 7%, 8%.
Okay. What's your terms? Like, okay, you get the lease option. How long do they have to pay you guys off?
So we generally we ask for from the seller 3 years and 45 days for the option period. And then for the tenant buyer, I'm gonna write it up as 2 years to have to exercise their option, but then I could give them 3 years. It doesn't matter because I'm just gonna assign them my contract anyways.
I get you. Okay, perfect. So yeah, how does the conversation go with what again? What do you think can help you convert higher? Just more conversation, more rapport building?
Yeah. So right now I have my partner. She's Karen. She does basically she's the acquisitionist. She talks. But I think one of the main things that she's working on is that she goes right to the point right away. Like she closes right away, and she doesn't spend time to figure out their situation. And she spends a lot of times just like talking about the numbers, going around the numbers, but she doesn't get to the situation like, why are they selling? What's the motivation? How can we talk about that thing so they feel comfortable that like, oh, I'm like your partner. I'm on the same page as you. Because a lot of the times she'll send the contract, they'll agree to the contract, but then they'll go over with their partner or they'll feel uncomfortable because she hasn't built enough rapport. So the second follow-up phone call the next day or in 4 hours, they'll be like, oh, you know what? I don't want to do the contract because of XYZ reason. And since she didn't build up enough rapport in the first one and she didn't handle the objections in the first one, they'll bring up the objections then later and they're less hot. The seller temperature is way, way, way down now, right? Instead of the first phone call. So that's what we're trying to work on more in terms of the acquisition side. Like, how can we bring up all the objections then while they're still hot? Bring them down and then bring them back up and then close them then. And that's what we're trying to work on. So if we did that better, then we should be able to get more signed contracts.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, sounds like you have, again, the good thing, you know where the issue's at, and now you know where, again, yeah, definitely bringing up objections. Like what I like the way that I negotiate my agreements when I'm talking to the clients, I always try to funnel them to the other option. Let's say I'm a cash buyer. Well, mister, you can always list it with an agent. You're probably going to get much more than what I can give you because, again, agents have banks, right? Again, you do, and then I throw the hurdle. You do have to go through commissions. You do have to go through inspections. You're definitely going to have to do some repairs. But again, you might have 20K just laying around to get those things fixed. Again, you also will have to go probably with discounts and time as far as keeping the house clean, doing showings. But at the end of the day, you might get more. Trying to pushing them away from my cash offer and pushing them towards the listing. They're like, no, I don't want to do that. It's perfect. I got that leg knocked down. He said, well, it's always better to just keep it as a rental. Again, you can always keep it as a rental. Again, just make sure that you get the good, right renters, that you put them to credit checks, that you get a good deposit, that you check the house every other month just to make sure that they're in a good condition. And they're like, whoa, I don't really want to do that either. Do you see? So I'm pushing them away. I'm pushing them towards other options of moving this property, knowing that that's not what they want, but they haven't verbalized it until I asked them like that way. And they're like, oh, I don't want to do that. He said, well, you can always keep it in the family. Again, maybe you can give it to a brother or a cousin. Yeah, sometimes there's a lot of friction because you make an agreement like that, and then they'll double cross you, and now you got to deal with them as a family because they double cross you in a deal. But again, that might not happen to you. He's like, no, I don't want to do that either. So you see, so I'm taking away their legs even before if they don't bring up the objection, I'm taking away their legs. Boom, 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 boom. And then by the time, well, based on what you're telling me, again, sounds like you just want to get rid of the house, cash, no worry about anything else, right? Am I on the right vibe with this? It's like, well, yes, you are. So again, I'm the last person. So I'm basically, if it was like, if you're like in a 10-door room, I'm literally opening the door. You don't want to go that way? No, close the door. You don't want to go that way? No, close the door. And they're like, okay, I want a cash offer. And then when and that way, I have the higher probability of them not bringing up an objection that I didn't know.
Yeah, and it sounds like you sound like their partner too, because like you're actually going through all the options, and then like you might, when you're bringing up all 10 of them, you're introducing like a door 9 and 10 that they probably didn't think about too.
Yeah, I'm telling them I'm not the best option. You're not gonna get the best money with me. You are gonna get the ease of being able to sell it. Just sign here and then go back in a month and sign and get your check. But again, I'm not the best option when you want to get the most money. But I am the best option when you just want to get rid of the property. So that's the way I handle my objections. That's a little bit from I don't know if you know, I don't know how long you've been in the business. Do you know John Martinez?
No. Well, I think isn't he like he teaches like a wholesaling sales, right? Like specifically sales, right? Sales Academy or something like that.
Yeah, he has the Midwestern Sales Academy. That's the way that I took his course, and that's the way that he teaches. Like, we're not the best option for you as far as with cash wise, but we try to. If it was like a 4-peg table with 4 legs, I'm trying to chop on the legs. I'm not saying no, go with me. I'm not trying to convince the owner to go with me. I'm trying to convince the owner not to go with me, but I'm giving him the whole spectrum. Okay, if you go like this with the commission with an agent, you're gonna face all these hurdles. Does that sound like a good option for you? Oh, I don't want to do the fixing and everything. Okay, then that one's off the table. And then, well, you want to keep it as a rental. Oh, I don't want to do that either. Oh, you want to put it for sale by owner by yourself, and then you deal with the banks, you deal with the inspections, you deal with everything. Oh, I don't want to do that myself either. Well, it sounds like you want to like a concierge service just to get the property sold, right? Is that what I'm getting, or am I totally wrong, ma'am? You make them agree to your option.
Are you still?
And that's the way that.
When you first call them, are you still doing like, oh, my boss is, my boss saw your property or something like that, like the thing?
I still use that. Yeah, I do. I do that when the initial call with the pattern interrupt, and then I also do that towards the conversation, because remember, you never want to be the final decision maker when you're buying the property, because sometimes you got to give the owner some bad news as far as the price. Like this deal that I just got, they wanted 105, and I was able to get it to 78.9, and the first offer was 65,000. So it hurts, and I know it hurts, and I heard it in the voice, but I blame it on my boss, and I apologize, man, for being so low. Well, the best thing we can do is 65,000. Like, oh, that's low. Yeah, I know. I told my boss that I was super low, but again, I know he's the one that has he has a bigger brain, because he's the one that has the money. But we wanted to be at 65. I don't know, does that work? And then we went back and forth, and we settled at 78.9. But you see, you never want to be that person that is the final decision maker, because they'll tell you no, because you're the final decision maker. When you're the middle, like if you're the child between the two parents, you still they're gonna tell you something, and you still gotta go and tell your other parent.
Right.
And that's the way that it helps me, because I can tell them really bad news, and I feel afraid of their reaction, because if they cuss me out, like, I apologize. It's not me. It's my boss telling me to tell you this. Again, that's why he hired me, because he wants me to tell everybody the bad news. He wants to be the good guy. You're like, oh, so you see, they don't what's it called? They don't get mad at me.
Right.
And if they do, I tell them, okay, it's not me. It's just that's my boss is what he's telling me to have to tell you. So that's the way I convert my what's it called, my deals more. And of course, asking the right questions. That's where the guts comes in, where it gives you the guts to ask the tough questions and not be afraid of giving them a real low offer. And you learn the pattern interrupt, et cetera, et cetera. How's your sales? Like when you first reach out to the homeowner, is it via text or you said it's text, right?
Yeah, we do text them first, and if they respond positively, then we generally follow up with them. Because a lot of people, this is where I disagree with a lot of people. It's like, just because they say yes in a text doesn't mean anything at all, right? Exactly. Or they'll say, call me. that doesn't mean like it doesn't really mean call me, right? Because they can just be texting a bunch of people to just say call me, and then they'll talk to you on the phone, and then they'll completely waste your time. Or they'll curse you out on the phone, right? They'll be like, oh, this is one of the scams or something like that. So
Yeah.
I like to pre-qualify them just a little bit. So when I get a response, I'll ask them like, well, what do you want for monthly rent? Or when they say call me, I'll say, okay, what would we talk about? Right. So if they
Yeah.
can't give me a very clear answer, like, oh, we're talking about your something that you're considering for the monthly rent. You wanted to rent this place, right? Versus, I don't know, we're gonna talk about the thing that you want to talk about. Like I get a lot of those from just like call me's. So if I try to call them directly, I always get like a very bad response. But from the yes responses, and if they can give me a monthly rent or something intelligible, like we're going to talk about this and have a conversation on the phone,
Yeah.
then I'll just follow up and say, okay, so when's a good time to call you, or can you tell me something that's not on Zillow? Like, can you tell me that's not on Zillow? Like, does it need any repairs? Does it have something that's missing in the photos? And if
Yeah.
they give me an answer, that's generally a motivated seller because they're giving me like a response. And then I'll
Yeah.
call them back and I'll have a conversation with them. And we can generally agree on some terms. And then we go to motivation. And then if I get those two things, I'll send them a contract. But even if we don't, I'll send them a letter of intent.
Okay. LOI. Okay.
Yep. And I'll be within, and I'll, especially if they're like in the maybe kind of field, I'll put it for 1 day. Like I'll say the offer expires in 1 day, and it's the terms that they want, right? Because it's either our price or their terms, or their price or our terms, or something like that.
Yeah. No, that, and again, that's again, you pretty much got it locked down. I think just how many are you doing acquisitions yourself, or is your acquisition person that does them?
So Karen does all the phone calls, and I just filter out the text. So
Okay.
because I would like my VA to do it, but the VA isn't sometimes smart enough to like look at the situation,
Yeah.
right? And to come up with like, and also REI reply is kind of complicated. Like sometimes you need to think about like, okay, well, the REI reply isn't seeing this one as it should be. So then you got to start building the new triggers or the new work for you. So when you're
Yeah.
doing it by hand, you can start thinking about, oh, the robot should do this, or the acquisition should be answering this template question. So you can work on the strategic side of that automation part.
Yeah. Like for me, so how let me ask you, how big is your team? Like, how is your team structured?
Just 3 people. My VA to do all the manual work. Well, technically 4, right? REI reply does count as a person.
Yeah.
So those 2 to do basically to sift, because you can't do 750 people a day without like one person. It's like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then so I filter them out after the VA or the bot does all the manual stuff, and then I'll pre-qualify them just a little bit, and then Karen gets on the phone with them. And even if they, let's say they're a maybe, and they give me kind of like we'll talk about this thing, and maybe I'll do 1,400 a month, but I'm still considering it. Then what I'm testing out now that I just started this week, so I don't know the full results, is I'll say, okay, it seems that you're still considering it. When's a good time to follow up on you? So I'll pull back a little bit. And if they
Okay.
give me a date, then I'll follow up with them. But usually they'll contact me beforehand.
Yeah.
So let's say they say like, oh, follow back with a week. They'll call, they'll call, or they'll text back in 2 or 3 days, and they'll give me a firm rent price, or they'll confirm that's the rent price they wanted, because they were talking to somebody on the phone and they got an offer that day. And so I don't want to go in there and not be the last person they talk to, like what you said, right? I want to be the last person that they talk to, and I want to know why they didn't go with the other offer. So when I present my offer, it's stronger.
Exactly. How do you think you can make them make a decision right there and then, without telling you, oh, let me call you back, or call me back in a week? What do you think is their hidden objection that they're not telling you? Because usually when they tell you, oh, call me in a week, that means there's something that we didn't ask. Usually you tell, well, usually, ma'am, again, just being honest with you, based on, again, I've been doing this, like, just humanize yourself. I've been doing this for a while, and usually it's like my wife. When she tells me there's nothing wrong, there's something wrong. I just haven't asked the right question, and that kind of it humanizes you as a person, that you have these real life situations. But then you tell them, well, usually when they tell me, oh, call me back in a week, there's something that I didn't ask, or and it's usually either two things: either they didn't like me as a person, but I'm a pretty okay dude. I've been respectful to you, or they didn't like the price. Is it that you don't like me, man? And then put it on them. It's like, oh no, it's not that. Well, then it's probably the price. What about the price? What about the terms? It's something that you're not liking. Because remember, you want to strike when the iron's hot, and talking to the client and bringing up those emotions as far as the situation wise and building the rapport. When you ask those questions there and you ask that question, it's either me because I'm an asshole, you don't like me, or the price.
Right.
And when you tell, well, it's not me, right, ma'am? Don't break my heart here. He's like, no, you've been pretty good. And you see, you humanize yourself, but you really are going towards the target. I want to know why the price doesn't work for you.
Right.
And then now you're literally putting him on the spot. You're literally putting him on the stand. Now you got to tell me why the price doesn't work and why you think you should get more or less, or you shouldn't give me the terms that I'm asking for. I think that will help you lock more contracts on the first call.
Right.
Because you're asking the question that, go ahead.
Do you send them the contract while they're on the phone? Do you ever do that? Or do you do that after, or
I need to get better as far as sending them where I'm on the phone, but no, I send them the agreement.
Okay. Because that's something I'm testing out this week. Like, while they're on the phone, like while they're talking to me, they're doing this stuff. I want to send them, even if it's a 1-page agreement, like I want to send it to them and they look it over. Because I feel like when they agree to everything and then you're going to say, like, I'm gonna send you a contract on the phone, it gives them a little bit of anxiety because they don't know what the contract is, right? Is like, it could be like a 17-page document, and then they're agreeing to something, and then they're gonna be like, what about this? What about my lawyer? It gives them a lot of anxiety. That's why I think.
Okay. Then what you can ask him is like, well, have you ever purchased a car, ma'am? Or have you ever agreed to, like, how long ago did you buy your house? This agreement is just basically a mutual agreement between you and me. It's basically going to say exactly, it says your name, it says our company's name, it says that we're going to be able to rent to own the property for 36 months, or whatever verbiage you're going to use. Because again, I'm not that how much words about lease options. But if you break down the contract for them, like, you want to make your contract as simple as possible and as easy as possible for them to read and sign and agree to it. Again, yes, in Texas, most people want to use the track, but the track's like fucking 11 pages.
Right.
And here in Texas, the only thing you need is an agreement between two parties and a consideration. I don't know if that's how the lease options works in general. So you can simplify your contract where it still has some teeth to protect you once you have an agreement, so they can't walk away. But it's more like you take away all the mumbo jumbo, all the verbiage that doesn't work as far as it's too complex. I think that way there will be, so it's only going to say that me, the seller, you, the buyer, 135 for 3 years, renting it for $1,400. That's all it's going to say. Yeah, that's pretty much what it's going to say. Okay, let me go ahead and send it to you. So you see, you don't want to make a contract so complex that they're scared. And remember, the reason why they're scared is because they feel dumb. They're like, I don't know all this contract, what it means. So my contract is super simple. My contract is only 10. It says, subject to partners' approval and inspections, the escrow deposit gets turned into the title company. You're gonna give me access. The house is gonna be purchased from free of any encumbrances for the title. I'm paying for all the closing costs, and usually from 20 to 30 days to close. That's it. Price and the consideration. Super simple. So when I tell them, well, this is the agreement I'm gonna send you, this is your email, and then you do the double close. So basically, okay, ma'am, so let me go ahead and draft this out. It might take me in the next 10 minutes. It's gonna say this. Do you agree? Is this what we had talked about? Yes, perfect. So I'm gonna send it to you. You'll probably get it in your email box around probably like in 20 minutes. Now, as soon as you get it, again, read through it. You might have some questions. Maybe I skip a couple of words. But let's get on a call probably, if I send it to you at 12, let's get a call at 2. And what I do tell my sellers, they do have any questions from the contract, write down the number and the questions you have so you can remember it when I get back on the call. And then you okay, so are you okay for me sending the agreement? Yes. Okay. So once I send the agreement, you're gonna have 2 decisions, right? Either to say yes or no. Is that something you can do today?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Let me go ahead and send you the agreement and let me call you at 2. So I'm basically putting them I'm putting them on the spot to agree to say yes or no on the agreement. I'm not giving them, hey, well, let me think about it option. You can always tell me no, but most people that tell me no is because either they don't like me or the price is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way that I'm able to convert more and higher. Again, asking those questions, because those are uncomfortable questions, asking those questions, well, either you don't like me, ma'am, or the price is wrong. Sometimes we don't want to ask the price. Oh, is it the price, ma'am? No, like be upfront with it. It's the price or it's me. Most likely it's the price because I'm a pretty cool person. Make them laugh. And that has helped me convert higher.
Right.
Because at first I'm trying to get all the objections in a bundle, and then I'm chopping down other exit strategies. And then I'm telling them we can do this at your price, or we can do this at my price. Okay, you agree at your price? Okay, I'm gonna get these terms. Okay, you agree to the terms? Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna send you an agreement that says this is the price, this is the terms, this is the time frame, this is my name, this is your name.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound more simple? Yeah. Okay. Now let me go ahead and email it to you. It might get in your inbox for like 20 minutes, in about 20 minutes. Now, once you get it, read through it. If you have any questions, write them down. It's 2 p.m. right here. I'm gonna go grab some lunch. I got a voucher from Whataburger to get this number 8, and that's gonna be my cheat meal. Again, you humanize yourself. Like, this contract for you is nothing. It's just an agreement. Because you still gotta go on with your life and get a Whataburger or get a Burger King or get a McDonald's. Let me eat my food and let me go walk around the office, because I know that's like 2,000 calories I'm gonna eat right now. Hopefully, I'm not too tired when I come back. But let me call you at 2. And if you have any questions, we'll knock them down there. And yeah, so you agree to say yes or no, right? Yes, perfect. So you're literally walking them through the whole conversation. You're humanizing yourself, that it's not you giving the price, it's your boss, that you gotta go eat after this, man, rush yourself, because I gotta go eat this Whataburger that I've been waiting for the last 5 days for my cheat meal. Humanize yourself, but you're telling them, okay, whatever I told you is gonna be in the agreement. I'm gonna email it to you, and then I'm gonna call you back at 2. So there's no way. And if they miss, let's say you call them at 10, they don't answer, and then you get back on a call at 4 p.m. Then you gotta question them. What happened? Oh, ma'am, I called you at 2 again. I had an appointment with my wife at 2, but I canceled it because, again, I wanted to make sure that I was available with you, and I wasn't able to make my wife the appointment that we had at 2 for her dentist appointment. But it's okay. I'll deal with her. Again, she loves me. She can't divorce me, because, again, we owe everything together, so she can't walk away from the car or the house. You see, you're humanizing yourself. But you asked them, what happened? You made me cancel my wife's appointment so that I can be with you at 2 p.m. So they're like, oh, they feel empathy for you. They're like, oh shit, yeah, I fucked up. So again, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I think we can spend more time like humanizing it, because I feel like she's like maybe like just going through the numbers, and what we can also do is like, is it just me, man? It's like, is it the numbers or just me? Like doing that, and then maybe spending a little bit more time giving them all the doors, and then closing all the doors. And while they're closing all the doors, it's just like add in that humanizing point, and then end on a humanizing point.
Yeah, because again, that kind of makes you look like a friend of theirs, like a cousin that they know, or an uncle they know. They have a life after this. After buying the house from you, ma'am, I still got to go to the park and play soccer with my nephew. I still got to go to the gym. And I'm definitely waiting for my Whataburger to come in, because I've been craving that Whataburger since Monday. It's already Friday, and it's already 3 p.m. So again, that's like I tell people, humanize yourself. Bring up, like, when you want to, tell something, a customer being an asshole. Like, I don't know if you heard. You were there right on Monday with Justin or Tuesday.
Yeah.
When I said, I asked him, like, yeah, no, I don't think I was talking to my wife about you, and I know you're not a bad person, because I was, and my wife was like, yeah, he was probably gonna cheat you or whatever. Like, nah, I don't think this customer is like that. I think he's a good guy. I'm fighting for you. What happened? You know what I mean? You question the seller by bringing in a story that you were talking to your wife, you're talking to your partner about your wife, not your partner, like your wife, your cousin, your brother, your sister, because you're taking it outside the business. Yeah, I was talking to this client, and I don't think he's lying to me, but it's like, and my wife was telling me, yeah, he's probably lying to him. Most people that say those words are lying. Now it's like, nah, you don't even know this guy. He's a cool guy. We were talking on the phone for like 30 minutes. He's a pretty cool guy. But I don't know what happened. Maybe something happened. What happened? What made you change your mind, Mr. X? Because now they're like, oh shit, this guy's rooting for me, and I effed them over.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps me humanize, telling the customer off without telling the customer off, but still asking the question that you want to get an answer for.
Do you generally spend 15, 30 minutes with them on the first call?
No, probably like 10. I talk like
10.
you notice I talk real fast.
Right.
So probably like, yeah, like 10, 15 minutes when I know for a fact. If they're BSing me from the beginning, 2 minutes, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
The way I tell them, well, Mr. X, it sounds like you're not really ready to make a decision. And it happens again, like I told my boss, he tells me he gets upset at me because I'm wasting his time. He's just talking to you. And I know you have probably more important things to do, because again, if you're ready to make an agreement and talk about this property, we can go ahead right now. But it sounds like you're not, and it's cool. I just want to make sure that my boss doesn't get upset at me because we in the call right now. Again, you have a fiscal responsibility to your boss to make sure that if this guy's a serious seller, we're gonna continue with the call, and if it's not, we're gonna end it right now. And then you follow up as a warm call. So that's the way.
A lot.
That's the way that I handle my calls. Like this call, the 50K assignment, that I'll probably get like I'll probably offer at 60, I'll probably get 50. It's a 3-unit apartment for 78.9. I'll probably sell it for like 139, more or less. It was like that. Again, he's like, oh yeah, I have an apartment. Well, it's a house, an apartment, etc., etc. He's like, well, it's always better to list it, and you might get more with me. He's like, no, but it needs a lot of repairs. So, well, again, she kind of told me the objection. She killed my objection of pushing her towards a commission. He's like, no, something happens. Something we don't have 10, 20K to fix it up. Perfect. Well, why not just like rent it? It's a 3-unit. It's giving you rent. And you leave, go into another house and just rent it. Again, you might have to drive every 2 months just to make sure that the renters don't mess you up. And you do have to deal with 3 people now renting your property. But hey, you might get the best tenants ever. You never know. He's like, no, I don't want to deal with that going back and forth. Perfect. You don't want to keep it in the family. Again, it sounds like it's you and your husband and your kids. Maybe you want to keep it in the family so your kids can get a family heirloom when you retire, and they can keep on going with that. Oh no, they're too young. Perfect. Okay. And then we went down to price, and that conversation went real quick. Within 5 minutes, I knocked out 3 legs.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went down to price. She sent me pictures of her reply. I saw them. I'll call you back. I think I called her back at 4 p.m. She's like, okay, I know you want it to be at 105. We can do 65. And I know it's, and then I just stopped. She's like, oh, that's real low. My husband wanted 105, but he's willing to go down to 85. It's like, it's kind of tough. I know my boss is gonna kill me with this. Can you help? Can you see yourself making a little bit better? And I can convince my boss. Again, he owes me on a couple of deals that went through. Didn't go through because again we wanted a lower price. But I can probably convince him on this one because he's been telling me that again I need to take more initiative in the company. So give me a better price, and I can convince him. And then we negotiated. I went down to 70, then they went down to 80, and then I went down to 72, and then we ended up at 78.9. But you see, all that was probably like 17 minutes within 2 calls.
Right.
And then I send the agreement and then sign it. Go ahead.
So is your cold caller doing the sequence that you're doing? Because like it seems like to do this, to give them all the options, they kind of have to have like an idea of the real estate, right? Like it's kind of hard because in my opinion, like someone like training an acquisitionist or a cold caller that doesn't have a lot of real estate knowledge, like they're gonna get on the phone, they're gonna follow a script, they're gonna be like, I don't really know what to say. Like they can't offer the 10 options and it's closed, right?
Yeah. No, so I don't have an acquisition guy. It's me. It's this deal came from it's a freebie because this one was a website that I built.
Right.
So it came through that website, and I got the text from the chat on the website, and then I'll reply to it. But no, my cold caller doesn't. Basically, my cold caller only asks, "Are you interested in selling?" and gets more or less a price.
Right.
The way that, like in my area, like I told them in my area, if they want sales estimate or below, it's an okay price. But you want to be between sales estimate, because the sales estimate is, let's say it's 100, and usually the appraisal district value is probably like at 70. So if we're between there, I can break it down where it works. I can bring it down to a point where it works. But just ask them the question. How do you ask those questions? He said, well, more the property looks pretty nice. Again, more or less, what were you thinking of selling it for? And let's say the sales system is at 100. He's like, I want 120. Oh, wow. Is it bigger than what it's listed here at 1,000 square feet? He's like, no, well, it says here that the value on the district, it's around, again, the value from the appraisal district appraisers, it's at 70 and you want 120. That's a big difference. Did you make it better or did you upgrade it? Did you have remodeled? He said, no, they're usually the appraisal district is usually low. Yeah, they're pretty low, but not that far apart. And then he's asking some tough questions, but not all the tough questions.
Right.
You know what I mean? So where I can still, and when I hear the conversations, when he sends me the lead, I'll hear the call and I'll hear the inflection of the voice of the seller, and I know, okay, how much more or less I can bring him down. And like for me, my target for the year is 40 deals.
Right.
So I'm averaging around 24,000 a deal. So that's more than enough for me and my family. That's around 800K. It's probably like 600K net. My marketing cost is probably like around, excluding my VAs, it's probably around $300 a month. With my VAs, probably like $800 a month. I don't know, probably like $600 a month. That's my all-in.
Very reasonable.
Cost. That's my all-in marketing cost. Like I don't have anything else. Just talking to clients the right way. So I can handle talking to probably 100 clients for the year, and I can convert probably like 40-50% of those.
Wow. And when when your cold caller gives you a lead, it's like the only qualification, I guess, is it's under Zillow, and then they ask like 2, 3, 4 questions, and you hear the inflection, right? And then you'll call them up.
Yeah. Sorry, my puppy went a while. So yeah, that's simple questions. I asked them just to ask the simple questions. Ask the condition. Are you willing to sell? How much you're asking? Because I wanted to ask how much you're asking.
Right.
For it. And they say, well, I don't know. Okay, perfect. Well, based on the appraisal district, it shows that the county, the appraisers the county hired went out there and saw your house and they valued it at around 70K. Is that more or less a fair price for your property? Like, oh no, that's too low. Okay, perfect. So more or less, how much were you asking? So 70 doesn't work, but they don't know a price. But when you tell them 70, like, oh no, not 70. Okay, perfect. Usually they're a little bit low. How much more or less were you thinking? And say, well, I want an offer. And then that's where he brings the sales estimate. Okay, but you don't want more like 20K over this, right? You don't want 90, or do you? And then based on how I don't know. Based on how their voice sounds, well, that means like yes. And they say no, that means like no, they want higher than that. You know what I mean? When someone says, whoa, I don't know. Like this lady, like I know they were willing to come down from the 105. Just based on what I was hearing when I was talking to her.
Was it a fixer 105 or was it it's like
It probably
cosmetic?
needs around probably like 10K to
Okay.
make it rent ready. In my area, that you can probably sell in that area each unit around probably like 90K,
Mm-hmm.
especially right now. Rents are gonna go up. So if you fully fixed up 90K, that's what 90, 90, 90, 180. That's like 2,300, $230,000 worth. And I can probably sell it for like 139. Have the investor
Okay.
put 10, 15 if he wants to make it really nice, and then just keep it as rental.
Great deal.
But it comes from a free lead. It comes from just I learned how to do again. It's for an outright reply. So within the $50, I have I think 30 websites, 32 websites that I have there on that are being what's it called through the outright reply servers. That one came through a website lead, and then I just converted it when it was just text, and then I called her, and then she sent me pictures, and then we locked it up at 78.9.
Which area of Texas what was your market?
I do San Antonio, and below. So Corpus, Laredo, McAllen, Mission, all those areas. Because again, I don't need to go again. Because if you look at it like at the beginning, it's like anything. Oh, I want to get all the leads and get all the deals. And if you look at it, that's more or less we go into that what's called that little tunnel vision. Oh, I want to get 3,000 because I have close to 1 million in records from the whole country that I haven't worked. I probably worked 100K leads. Then I know for a fact I can keep on doing that. I can keep on working that lead. I can probably get my 40 deals a year from the same list. But then I realized, well, I don't need to get 100 deals. If I just get 40, first it was 20 deals. If I get 20 deals at 30K, at 20K, that's what's that? 20, that's $400,000 a year. That's a fucking awesome business. And remember, that's just my wholesale assignment fees. I get other ones where I can like I bring them to my portfolio, the lay downs. Oh, just take over the payments and I'll walk away.
Right.
I keep those. But let's say if I make 400K a year, that's pretty good living, man.
It's pretty good.
So now my target is to do 40 a year. So I don't need to go into bigger. I do sometimes when I'm an idle, when I want to get more leads, I go into other bigger like California, where one deal I can make 100K.
Yeah.
Which I haven't done yet. But again, let me go research the other leads. Let me have my co-caller call there and see if he can bring a deal from over there. Yeah. But again, 40 deals for me is more than enough, and I don't have to get another team member. I can do it myself.
Right. So the apartment was probably worth like 140K, and you got it for like 70K, right? So that's probably how it was. So like about 50% is where you're aiming for.
Yeah. Well, like this one, if you just look at the construction cost, like the cost analysis, is probably worth probably like 50.
Okay.
If it was just based on construction, but this is not a house. This is a multi-unit.
Right.
So you get more because again, it's income producing unit. So if I was gonna buy, if it was just a regular house, I will need to be at 50. So I can sell it at 70.
Right.
But since it's at income producing, I can be at 79 and assign it at 139, and somebody can fix it up and have a 200K asset. Sam, relax. My dog's on wild. But yeah, man, again, that's the way, that's my target for the year. That's the way how I'll handle all my calls. And that gives me enough time for me to do myself. Don't have to get more people. Because again, I come from big business. I used to manage, I think it was like 4 million for a lending company. In either growing the company, we need to grow the company at $1 million a year in what's called in loans, and then manage the portfolio. Again, some get paid off and then some get renewed. And I was doing the collection side. So I had like a 10-person team. It's that drains your head, dude. Just dealing with all those people. Oh, they have to do this, have to do this, have to do this. And yes, you can probably get a manager to do that. And then now you're the manager of the manager. I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want to go back to that. I want to be 40 deals a year. Just be relaxed again. I'm real conservative with my money again. I used to spend a lot when I was a lender. Now I don't spend as much. So yeah, hey. But yeah, Vic, again, you got it pretty locked down. Again, just a couple of tweaks here and there. It'll make you scale at and you might have higher what's called goals in me. Like I want to close $3 million worth of deals. Perfect. That's the way you do it. You make sure that you get those three people first lined up, and then you get another team, and then you get another team. Because if you can get, like for me, if I was able to get 40 deals from this market, and then 40 deals from Dallas, 40 deals from Florida, and 40 deals from California, shit. But I mean, I need to be able to replicate myself. So now I need a team like Team B and Team C and Team D and Team F. And I don't want that. Again, I'm pretty good where I'm at. I do save. I'll probably end up with my goal is to end up with 300 doors by when I'm 70. Just in houses, and my target is 10 owner finance deals a year that I can take on.
Right, and you're doing the subject to, right?
So subject to, when it doesn't make sense, I have a guy that lends me money. But remember, like the property that I'm doing in San Rafael, I'm buying it for 55, and I can owner finance it for 139 as is.
Wow,
but it's clean. But you see, I was able to negotiate the client down to 50. I'm paying him 50. This guy's lending me 50 at 11%, which is nothing. It's high interest rate, but if you look at it, 11%, it's still like a $400 payment.
Right.
For the 50. And I'm gonna owner finance it at 11%, but at 139 with 25K down. So I get like kind of like my assignment fee, plus I get the cash flow. So he's gonna be owing me like 119 or 120. At 11%, so he probably is gonna be paying me around $1,500 all in. So it's like $800 worth of cash flow that I'm gonna have, more or less.
When you go do that, I guess that's called a wrap, right? Because you're gonna wrap it to the person. Yes. Do you double close on that wrap? So the end buyer pays for the lawyer and all that stuff, or do you just close it first and then take your time to go find the buyer?
No, so most likely, like this properties, I already have buyers for. This is where you market. So the lady that helps me find the buyers, that's her business. She's a queen in doing owner finance, finding owner finance buyers for properties that people can owner finance. So for every deal, she gets 5K from the down payment. So if I get 25K down, she gets 5. If I get 35K down, she gets 5. Because again, that's another hat. That's another whole nother beast. Trying to get people to get people that can do doing 35K to 40K down payment on owner finance deals. So I don't want to go into that hat to save 5K. No, let her earn her money. Let her bring me the buyer. So this one I already pitched to her. Hey, I'm gonna lock it down with this lender. Just make sure you give me a buyer. I want at 139, and she knows I can probably sell it for higher if I fix it up. But I don't want to put any money into it.
Yeah. Because that's like a 20% down payment for as is, right? So that's like that's pretty fat.
Yeah, trust me, 25K down on every owner finance deal. I've gotten up to 35K down.
Wow.
On a property that I can buy for like 40.
Right.
And then I become the bank.
Okay. Yeah. So like, but then it's her job to find the 15, 20, 30% people that want to do it. That makes sense.
She already has it. She has tons of buyers ready. There's no properties.
Right.
You know what I mean? The things that she tells me, there's no properties. Especially right now, they're gonna stop popping up more because again, the interest rates are so high right now. And of course, the people don't want to buy no more. So there's gonna be some properties available now. So every deal that I send to her, she sells it within 2 weeks.
Wow.
Because there's no houses that are entry level homes that people are willing to owner finance because they're, what happens if this happens? What happens if this happens? You know what I mean? They're scared of that. Again, I'm in the business, so I know the worst case scenario. I know the best case scenario. I know more or less the average scenario.
It's a good tip. Find the acquisition rep person for you. That's smart.
Yeah. And the best way I found her through, again, she put like on Facebook Marketplace. I saw that she was posting owner finance deals, and then I clicked on her profile, Sam, and she had tons of properties. Back then, this was probably like 4 years ago. And now
did you have to?
She makes like $50K a year for me just from deals. Go ahead.
Did you have to negotiate the 5K spread? Because usually they want it like 10% or like not 10%, but like.
Yeah, I kind of negotiated the 5. She always said the 5 because my average, it's like a 4% commission, more or less.
Okay.
That's my house. My average house here is like 150. So it makes sense. I try to stick to the properties that sell the most, under 150, under 100 sometimes.
Makes sense.
But yeah, Vic, again, you got to lock down, man. Just again, tweak here and there. And like I always tell people, consistency will always kill your competition. If you have a lot of competition in your area, just be consistent that you ask the question. It's like a conveyor belt. You ask this, 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 you ask this. You get send the contract, you lock it up, and you sell it. Like it's the same process for the whole system. You don't deviate from the process.
I like that conveyor belt analogy.
Yeah, you make it simple. Just simplify it. You don't go to the extreme to the top. You don't go to the extreme. You do the same questions over and over and over. It makes it
basically
easy.
Yeah. Basically,
and it's also easy. It's easy to teach also. And if you want to scale, like if I wanted to scale to 2 businesses, I can teach that same thing to everybody. But I don't want that headache.
Yeah, managing and teaching the acquisitions person is a full-time job or part-time job in general.
Yeah. When I used to be a lender, it's full-time job teaching people how to collect, how to sell the products, how to disclose the products, and how to process the product. It's a full-time job. Just that part of the business is a full-time job.
Yeah.
Hi, may I speak with the...
Okay, Vic. Sounds like the doors. The years. Sorry, someone's in my doors. What's it called? The hour's over, man. But again, do that, man. Like I was telling you, as far as the tweaks here and there, and I will come back on Friday next week and let's see how it changed.
Yeah, I'll give you some updates there. Thanks,
definitely, brother.
Thanks, man.
I'll definitely ask you for them. All right, my guy. Well, thank you for coming into the podcast, man. If anything, just again, I'm in the group. If not, just wait for Friday, and then if you have any questions, let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you go take care of your dog. He's been wanting your attention for like the last time.
All right, man. Have a good day, brother.
See you, man. You too.